Hi guys, welcome back to the Partyology Experience. You're here with Marcus and Emma. We're talking with Emma today about her wedding and everything to do with entertainment, which is very...
the fun part.
The fun part, definitely. And I know lots about this, being a DJ for over 25 years, so super important to me. I think it's super important for all events. But yeah, again, depends on priorities and what you want to happen at your function or your wedding. So Emma, where are you in the planning of entertainment for your wedding? Do you know... Have you thought about it much? Do you know what you want yet? Have you done any research in this area?
So I've thought about it a fair bit. I just need to find out who those particular people will be for most of these things.
Yep.
So I definitely want to have a duo at the start of the night. So when people walk into the room at 6:30, they're just basically listening to a duo for like 2.5 hours. I'm not really sure on the actual length of time.
Yeah.
So that it's a bit more relaxed, and then we'll have a DJ after that. So the DJ would probably start after so we'll do speeches, first dance. So he or she will start after that. So I also want entertainment, but I haven't picked the entertainment yet.
Yeah. So when you say entertainment, what do you mean by that?
I know, something really exciting.
Right. Dancing girls.
Yeah, something like that. Well, BJ, my partner, really would like, when you can get waiters that basically, they walk around just being waiters, but then they all of a sudden just start into a dance. So people just think that they're serving food, and then all of a sudden they get up and they do a full routine dance. So something like that.
Something a bit quirky or different.
Bit quirky, or have dancers come out and do like a full dance performance. Something a bit different than just what you would have at every wedding.
Yeah. So jelly wrestling or something like that?
Maybe not, because there'll be half naked women. I'm sure the guys would be overly thrilled by that.
That's all right.
So yeah,
probably wouldn't recommend that.
No. I was going to say my pa won't be happy, but I think he would be happy.
Yeah. Might give him a heart attack.
So nothing like that, but definitely something. I'm just not sure what that something is at the moment. I need to speak to my wedding planner.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yeah.
And organise something for that. But I know what I need and what I want. It's just working out who those particular people will be.
Okay. So obviously entertainment's important to you.
It is very important. I think that's what sort of makes people have a good time.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And is dancing important to you?
Yes.
Because people can have entertainment. There's lots of weddings and functions that have just entertainment, but it's more as a background thing, not as a dancing thing.
Yeah.
Dancing is obviously important to you.
Very important. For our engagement, we had something a bit more sort of low key, sort of more of a gathering. So I didn't think dancing would happen at that. So I always wanted to have the wedding as something that would be more dancing. So we're hoping to finish all of our formalities and stuff like that by 9:30 at the latest, and then the rest of the 2.5 hours will be just dancing, and that's it. So I think you need, there's nothing worse than going to a function or a wedding and you've got like a half an hour and maybe an hour max of dancing. And the dance floor's just getting excited and everyone's having a good time. They're like, oh, last song. And you're
That's
like,
right.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Exactly right.
So I don't want that I want people to have a good 2 hours, solid hours of dancing. Yeah. And I think by the time it gets to that stage, all my girlfriends and all of our family friends will probably be a little bit drunk. So I think they'll be ready to rock and roll by then.
You hope, yeah. Yeah, and obviously, there is so much going on at weddings, and format plays a big part in this.
It does,
and
huge.
I can tell you, as I say, DJing lots and lots of weddings and functions over the years, the average to me for a wedding, if you're doing really well, you'll get a couple of hours, if you plan right.
Yeah.
The average usually that I've done at most weddings is probably an hour and a half, and probably the worst I've done, you said before, you play a few songs. I did a wedding once and I played music for 20 minutes. And literally, the bride and groom did their bridal waltz, they had a few songs, and it was literally probably 4 or 5 songs, and then because they had a few hundred people there, so it made it there was a lot of people, guests at the wedding, and then they wanted to do a goodbye circle, which can take a lot of time. People don't understand sometimes how long those things take.
To get people organised just takes them 10, 15 minutes.
Exactly right, especially if it's the end of the night and they've been drinking and they're not really paying attention. Exactly right. And I remember a few of the guests turning around to me saying, "What do you mean we're doing when there's no more dancing?"
Yeah, goodbye circle.
And I said, "Well, we've got to allow half an hour at least for the goodbye circle and a bouquet and everything else." So, literally the whole night was dinner and speeches, really. And to be honest, unless you format your wedding properly, most weddings end up being more of a formality than a party. So you really do need to plan for it. And it is, if you want, I guess, the fun part and a bit more excitement, then you've got to make sure you do all your formalities as quickly as possible.
I guess sit-down and cocktail make a huge difference too.
Absolutely. So if you're having a sit-down dinner, that's going to take up more of the night, whereas cocktail is obviously a bit more flexible. And but the night can still disappear. You know,
of course,
speeches.
both options.
You know, a lot of people think, oh, my speech is going to go for half an hour, and they end up going for 45 minutes to an hour.
You just cut every time. It's a little bit extra on everything.
You know, guaranteed most weddings are always running behind.
Always.
The bride and groom are late from having photos if they're doing photos after the ceremony. So there's lots of factors that can eat into that dancing time. Hence why you can have an hour to 2 hours if you're doing well.
Yes.
So how fussy are you about music?
Pretty fussy. I'm not
Like, will you be one of these brides that wants to give the DJ a playlist and tell him what to play song for song, or are you just going to give him a bit of a guide, or are you just going to leave it up to them?
Probably a guide, I think. It just depends on who it is, but I think having a guide for that person would be good, just so you have an idea of what music you want. I don't want to be on the night having to worry about it either. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, why is he playing this, or why are they doing that, or whatever it is. So it just depends. I'm not going to be a person that says you need to play this playlist, whatever songs, 20 songs need to be played in this order, because that's not why you hire DJs.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
You might as well get an iPod and play off a speaker if you're going to be that particular. I think if you're going to hire someone that's professional, you need to give them a guidance. And I think what we normally will say is, you know, give 20, if your top songs that you love and you find all your family and friends will dance to, and then that DJ, they can go off from there and work out sort of what your style is. But giving them a full list of rundown and going, you need to play this song and this after this and this, it's just, what's the point?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Don't get someone professional to do a job that an iPod could do for you, or an iPhone.
And I hate to say it, but you can actually ruin your own wedding by doing that. Another example, years ago, we did a wedding. This was quite a long time ago, and the bride was very particular on the music she wanted, but her choice of music was alternative, and alternative music is not really the sort of music that gets people up and dancing.
Not
and
really.
She'd given a list of all this sort of music, so the DJ was playing the music. It was one of our DJs, and he was playing the music on the night, and then the bride got a bit upset because nobody was dancing, so she went up to the DJ and said, look, I need you to get people dancing. They're not dancing. And the DJ said, look, you know, the choice in your music is not encouraging people to dance. If you don't mind me playing some stuff that I think might get people up and dancing, then I can give that a go, and we can go from there. So the bride's like, yep, I don't care, I just want people to dance. So the DJ then played some top 40 stuff at the time, and at the time it was big sort of Latino sort of style, Ricky Martin and Jennifer Lopez, all that sort of stuff was all sort of really popular at the time. So he put on some of that stuff. Everybody's on the dance floor. Within 10, 15 minutes, the dance floor is packed, going off. Everyone's having a great time. So that went on for about 20 minutes or so. Everyone's half an hour. Everyone's having a great time. The bride then saw everyone was dancing, went up to the DJ and said, this is great, now I want you to go back to my music. He went back to his music, the bride's music, cleared the dance floor, and it sort of went on like that for the rest of the night. So I guess what the point here is, you've got to cater for the majority, not the minority.
Yes.
Although you might like a certain style, is your grandparents, is your uncles, aunties, your friends all going to want to dance to that sort of music? If dancing is super important to you, you've got to pick music that you think people are going to dance to.
Yeah.
And that's where, as you say, a good DJ, a professional DJ who knows what they're doing, can quite often read the crowd. But obviously the DJ wants to cater for you and your partner because it's your wedding. And you do need to have a say in that, but you also need to be a bit flexible in that.
I think so, yeah. And as you said then, like, I could pick all the music I love, but, you know, like some of the oldies, like, I don't really, like, I know them, but I don't really love them. But everyone else loves them when you go to, like, you know, functions like ABBA and all that sort of stuff. And not that I want that all night, but, you know,
sometimes you got to play that. And if it keeps everyone on the dance floor and everyone's having a great time,
that's all I want.
They're going to remember your wedding as being a good, fun wedding. Yeah. And you will remember it as being a fun wedding. There's nothing worse than seeing an empty dance floor. Yeah. Like, you know, if nobody's dancing to the music and everyone's just sitting at their tables looking at...
I don't want that.
It's
that
terrible.
Would be my worst nightmare.
Yeah. And that all comes down to the music. And the music is a soundtrack to your wedding. So it's going to be in videos, and that's what people are going to remember. That's what you're going to remember. So it is quite important. If you think about movies and soundtracks, you remember certain movies because of certain soundtracks sometimes.
Yes.
And it's the same with your wedding. Sometimes, you know, you hear a song and go, oh, I remember we had this at our wedding, or other people will remember those songs at your wedding, and, you know, grandma doing a slide across the dance floor on her knees or something like that. I always use grandma because grandmas always go crazy.
Yeah, they do.
Especially after a few wives. Mums. Yeah, mum of the bride or groom.
Yes.
So it is really, really important. So, something to think about.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing as regards to music for your ceremony? What are you thinking along those lines?
I was originally thinking of having a duo for the ceremony and the reception, but cost and budget sort of weren't going to work. So I've decided that we'll basically just pick some music that we want and play it on the PA that the celebrant brings.
Yep.
So we haven't actually picked music yet, but I'll have enough music basically for the half an hour prior. So of course, because people always arrive way earlier than they do.
Yep.
And then we're going to have pre-eaten drinks on the lawn, so then another half an hour to that. So I'll need a good an hour to an hour and a half of actual music.
That's right. And a lot of people don't realise that your guests, if you tell them it's 4 o'clock start for your ceremony, your guests will typically
They'll
be
be
there
there at 3:30.
Yeah, half an hour before. So you don't want them to just show up and it's dead silent.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No,
Just some
so
background music.
you always need at least half an hour minimum for background music to start before the ceremony. And then usually I say there's 4 songs that you need for your ceremony. You need 1 for walking down the aisle.
Yep.
You need 2 for signing, and then 1 for when you're walking back down the aisle. They're the 4 at minimum. And usually the 1 for walking down the aisle, obviously everything is personal choice. The 1 for walking down the aisle is typically a slower one because you're walking slow.
Oh, when you actually arrive, yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when your bridesmaids are walking down it, you want something to be, something a bit slower.
Make everyone cry.
Yeah, that's right. You could do that, yeah. And then for the signing, I mean, some people agonise over these songs, but it really is just background music.
Yeah.
You're signing, you're having photos. It's just to have a bit of music in the background.
Yeah, no one's really
so
listening
you
to
don't
it.
really need to agonise over these songs. If you've got songs already chosen for your wedding, great. If you don't, it doesn't matter. And then typically the song that you play when you walk back down the aisle with your new husband is a bit more fun and up-tempo. But again, it depends on your personality and who you are. And, you could have, anything. Like, it really doesn't matter. As I say, typically it's a bit more fun and upbeat.
Yeah, we'll do something a bit more fun going down the aisle.
And it's got to be something that's, appeals to you guys as your personality, and it might have some sort of meaning that you hooked up at a nightclub and that was a song that was playing or something like that.
Yeah.
So it can be anything like that. But they're the 4 songs. Otherwise, the rest is just background. And again, if your guests are hanging around at the ceremony afterwards, having background music for another hour if they're having pre-dinner drinks or whatever, you need to think of that as well.
Yeah.
Because it really does help create that atmosphere.
Of course. You don't want people just talking and then there's nothing in the background. So,
Yeah. And so how is your wedding going to be fun? Like, you've obviously thought about entertainment, you've thought about, you're thinking, what's going to make it fun for you, do you think, or fun for your guests?
So this is the hard one because I'm trying to think of all the things I can do to make it fun, and I don't want it to be a boring wedding. I don't want people to go and go, oh, it's just a typical, cocktail style wedding. Especially for cocktail, I think a lot of people have been to a lot of boring cocktail weddings, and I feel like I need to set the standard quite high because I don't want to go to a cocktail style wedding that's quite boring. There needs to be things to stimulate people pretty much every half an hour to an hour, we normally say. Just something different or something for people to do, because it's a long time for people to be there chatting. And I know that people will start getting drunk and, talk to heaps of people because they can mingle. They don't have to be sat down at one spot the whole night. Yeah. So entertainment will have a huge play in that. I need to sort of do some other things throughout the night as well. It's not something that I have sat down and gone, okay, this is what I'm doing, but I really need to nut that out soon.
And so what about the bridal waltz? Pretty important, or bridal dance, I call it. The waltz is very old school term.
The waltz is very old.
Yep.
The bridal dance.
The bridal dance. Have you thought about that? Have you chosen a song?
No.
No? Is that something you're planning to do?
Yes.
Yeah. You don't sound too excited about it.
As I said, like in the first couple of podcasts, I do not like being on show, so having to do a first dance also petrifies me. So walking down the aisle and doing the first dance will be the only 2 things that will absolutely, scare me. Yeah. So I think...
So you won't be doing a choreographed dance?
No, I don't. And if we did, I think it'd be something really funny. Like we'd do we'd just do like the normal sort of, you go around in circles, and then we'd probably then break out into a funny dance or something.
Dance.
Break dance. I can't dance for absolute, me, we both can't. Actually, BJ thinks he can dance. Yeah. He likes to dance randomly around the house, so I'd love to see what his dance moves would be.
Everyone thinks they can dance after a few days.
Yeah, but I think if we did something like that, that would be fun.
Yeah.
I think to do something that, we'd just break out into a dance that maybe we learnt.
Yes.
But I'm not overly. I would really like, if we're going to do a first dance, do it for like maybe, 30 seconds or something, and then get our mums and dads and stuff up to dance. I just do not want to be up there for a minute or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bridal waltzes or bridal dances is something that a lot of people stress about.
They do.
And there is multiple ways of doing it. Some people will dance. The bride and groom will dance for the whole song, and then they'll play another song and get the bridal party up, and then after that, everybody else. But for those people that are nervous like yourself, I usually suggest doing exactly that. You have half an hour. Dance for half an hour by yourself. No, don't do 30 seconds. 30 seconds to a minute. Shuffle around the dance floor. It doesn't need to be choreographed. Just a bit of a sway.
Just something.
In each other's arms. Everyone claps and cheers, takes photos.
Yeah.
And then, yes, you get the parents up. Then you get the bridal party up within that first song.
Yep.
And then the second song is another slow song to get everybody else just onto the dance floor. You've also got to consider too that if people have just had a dinner and have been eating a lot of food, they're not usually itching to dance, or they're not feeling super energetic at this point. So you need to sort of ease into the music. You can't just go, hell for leather, straight into the house music, because people it's like doing exercise. You've got to warm up a bit. So, usually another one or two slower songs just for everybody else, the couples and all that sort of stuff, on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And then straight into the techno after that, or whatever it is that you're into.
Sure.
It does sort of help. But yes, you've definitely hit the nail on the head. Lots of people are stressed about doing their bridal dance.
Because we'll do our first dance probably at the end. So we'll do speeches, first dance, and then as soon as our first dance is over, then it's just dance floor from there.
Yeah.
I have seen in the past where people do like their first dance at the start of the night, or they do it in the middle of their night, and they might have people come up and dance, but then they make them sit down for entree or main or something like that. So it's like they're up and down, up and down.
That's right.
And I didn't want that. I want them just to do that, and then they dance, and then there's not like we're doing bridal waltz, everyone gets up for a dance, and then we go, we're doing speeches now for half an hour, and then everyone stops again. Yeah. It's just too much of a break.
You've got to keep all the dancing together.
Keep it flowing.
So don't have once you've started the dancing, you want it to go basically until the end of the night.
Yeah, which is what we'll do. That will basically be the start of the night, like the dancing part, and then that will be it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just easier.
Definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, what else is there to do with your dancing? Entertainment, you've basically got it all covered. I just need to work out who and what and all those sort of finer details. I know what I need. I'm just trying to find the right people for those particular spots. And then I also need to work out other things for people to do during the night to make the fun. But it's not always all entertainment. It will be other little things that they can do, like other activities and stuff like that. So a bit more research.
It does come under that category though, that entertainment sort of stuff.
Yeah, which is obviously, as you've said, super important.
Yes.
So lots more to think about, but sounds like you're well on the way to deciding what to do.
I'm getting there, I'm about to start booking duos and stuff. That will be my first sort of point of contact, and then next will be entertainment, like dancing or whatever, like surprise.
And as you say, having some sort of surprise is a good thing too.
Yeah.
It's, when the night's not predictable, it makes it definitely more exciting.
I want it to people just to come and go, it's just, I don't think anyone will though, because everyone knows what I'm like.
Yeah.
They'll be like, it's not going to just be,
standard.
This. Yeah. There'll be random things
that's
happening during the night.
Yeah, exactly right. So, all right, thanks, Emma. Thanks for talking all things entertainment today. Stay tuned, and we'll have lots more podcasts coming up with more discussions around Emma's wedding coming up next year. Thanks for listening.